Breeze Nation, what is good? It's your boy Pat the Designer back at it again with the boy Jordan JC in the building. Had a stroke right there mid-name. That was crazy. That was nuts.
I don't know what was going on there. What's up, man?
Just a little yurt. It's just
a
little Tuesday show. Hey, man, appreciate y'all tuning in and showing love. As always, hit that like button, subscribe to the page, leave a 5-star review. Y'all know what to do. And we got a lot to get into on today's show because the draft is tomorrow, so there's a ton of Bulls talk happening around the league right now, and the Bulls are making moves. People are giddy about the Giddey move, I guess. So
we're getting a little happy.
But does that change the outlook of the future of this team with Zach Lavine? We got to talk about that. And then a qualifying offer extended to Patrick Williams. Oh, God, here we go. And a draft preview, all that and more on today's episode of the Windy City Breeze Sports Talk Daily. Hit that like button, subscribe to the page, leave that 5-star review. Y'all know what to do. JC, what's going on, my guy?
Hey, when P. Will is having a good day, I'm having a good day, baby. It's all good over here. That's all I got to say.
Is interesting, bro, because it's just like,
hey,
what has he shown at this point, bro? 4 years.
There's a P. Will, there's a way. That's all I'm going to say.
When there's a P. Will. That feels like a pause. I'm not going to lie.
I feel baby.
I feel a little bit uncomfortable on that one. Let's start it off here, though, because we get the report from Casey Johnson today. I don't know if this is a report, but we get a statement from Casey Johnson, realistically, that the Chicago Bulls may be interested in trying to rebuild this relationship with Zach Lavine, basically saying that, listen, when you bring in a guy like Josh Giddey, you can do a lot worse than having a two-time All-Star who can knock down a 3 at a 38+% clip and get any shot he wants on the court. My question to the chat, my question to you is, why are we doing this? Why are we trying to repair something that, in my opinion,
inevitably broken?
It's inevitably broken. By the way, not just the relationship, but since he signed the contract, the player as well.
Yeah.
And
I look at it.
If it had been anybody else but Casey Johnson, I'd have been like, they're not trying to repair it. But Casey don't just talk.
That's true.
That's the thing about Casey. He don't just talk. He's saying that because he's hearing something.
Yeah. Yeah, there's some credibility. There's some credibility to it with Casey speaking on it, so you got to give it some ear, some listen. I look at it two ways. I look at it as if they're really trying to mend the relationship, or they're in a position where they say, okay, if there's nothing really being given to us that we like in a trade or any value from the trade market, then there's a possibility where now that we got Giddey, we finally have a player who complements Zach Lavine's game more than most of the players we've had since Lonzo Ball. And I actually looked up an article that actually stated that Zach Lavine hasn't played with a player since Chris Dunn in 2018-2019 that averaged 5.7 assists per game in a season. I didn't realize that. I thought Lonzo did that, but apparently he didn't. And so you have a player in Giddey that can do a lot of different things, that is more about distributing the basketball, being that facilitator that the Bulls need so that Zach Lavine can shine. And so does that pairing make sense? Yes, it does. So there's a possibility where say, hey, we can keep him. But then there's the other option where maybe this is a negotiation tactic where, hey, they're trying to get leverage. The draft is just coming up, and we may see maybe somebody say, oh, you know what? If you're going to keep him, we'll raise our trade proposal to give you even more than what we were going to initially.
And here's my thing, right? I love how you laid out the scenario around keeping Zach Lavine as, listen, if the type of player you want with Josh Giddey, let's be 100% honest.
Yeah.
Is a high volume 3-point shooter who can knock down the mid range, who can get to the bucket anytime he wants, who can be a high flyer so that you can throw the oops and be what the player that we saw the first 35 games with Lonzo Ball. Zach Lavine in a perfect world makes sense, but for all my blue collar people out there, you'll understand this. Perfect worlds rarely exist. When you go out on a construction site or when you go out on a job site, there's a lot of project managers or the supervisors or whatever it is that will say, well, you know, this should be here and this will work like this and we'll line this up here and it'll be perfect. And there you go. Here's your job site.
Yep.
Then you get on the job site and you go, well, we got a steam pipe going that way, so we're not going to be able to run it that way. And we got a silo right there, so, you can't run through the silo. You got to find a way to get around there, so that's going to be an extra 150 feet of pipe. And then over here, there's an entire farm that wasn't accounted for, so you got to go underground there. Like, very rarely do you go into the Zach Lavine situation as a perfect scenario. Nothing about this scenario has been perfect. Nothing about this, since he signed, I should say, nothing about this scenario has been the Chicago Bulls being in the best position to be successful with him. So why would we expect that to happen now? Why would we expect repairing the relationship? Okay, the relationship's fixed. Everybody's happy. Kumbaya, here we go. Zach Lavine hurt his knee 6 weeks into the season. Zach Lavine comes back from injury, and now all of a sudden Kobe White's not the same player anymore. Now he's not impacting the game the same. But we want to keep Zach because he's the type of player you want to mix with that, so throw him back out there. It just doesn't make sense.
Yeah, that's my biggest question mark is, if you do run it back with Zach Lavine, what is going to be the difference? And then, too, another reason why I more so am leaning on the side of not keeping Zach Lavine, and if this is a smokescreen, as a lot of people are saying in the chat, is – how is the progression of everybody else that took a step forward going to look when Zach has to be that guy again? You saw what Kobe White did this past offseason. You saw the improvement with Aldisumu all across the board with his defense. You saw a little bit of improvement in Dalen Terry, all right?
Oh,
I'm going to bring that name out. But you saw some improvement realistically from the guys that are going to be leading this team going forward for the future. And so when you bring Zach back, like, how is he going to also mesh with those other guys? Are they going to take a step back, because they know that he's the alpha of the team? He's the two-time All-Star. That's my question mark is, how is the entire team going to gel around that?
Yeah. And that's kind of when you look at this whole scenario, right? And to me, I wonder how the dynamic is with him in the locker room. I would assume guys still like him, right? I'm not sitting here telling you that there's a disdain for Zach Lavine in the locker room. I'm not sitting here telling you that oh, by the way, over 100 in the chat.
Let's go.
I'm not sitting here telling you that guys don't like Zach Lavine in the locker room, but I do wonder the dynamic of him going out there last season and saying, hey, you know what? They want to get rid of me. I'm going to go have season-ending surgery. Mm-hmm. I wonder how much that's going to affect some of the relationships because, realistically, he could have come back and played. He could have come back and been a part of something. Maybe you build something here. When he did come back, it didn't seem like he was very in tune with what was going on as far as, how the things had changed. It seemed like, he had a couple of games where he fit in and it was like, oh, okay, this is the Zach Lavine I like.
Yep.
And then it completely went off the cliff. I think to me, the fact that you put yourself in that position again, that to me is right. We talk about GM suicide or GM malpractice. A lot of people say that's GM malpractice. You saw how that scenario is going to work out. You saw how that scenario is going to play out. You saw what happened during the season when you brought Zach into that mix, and it didn't work.
Yeah.
And it caused Kobe to regress. It caused DeMar to be out, and guys just weren't able to figure it out. And so to me, repairing this relationship, I would love the perfect scenario of Zach Lavine. But the perfect scenario of Zach Lavine isn't here anymore. I would rather see you try and go out. And yes, you're going to take a loss. Me and Joe will talk about this earlier. He doesn't want to take a loss on a deal. You got to. You got no choice. You're going to take a loss. Try and get it back as much as you can. Try and put players in here to put Kobe in the best position. And listen, we've seen teams do that. Mm-hmm. The Golden State Warriors move on from Monte Ellis. Everybody hated him. Who hates him now?
They won championships. That's all that matters. That's all that matters. My thing is, here's my thing too with the whole, this is why I have so much doubt with this Bulls organization is because we've seen them be in purgatory for quite some time now. They keep flip-flopping, admittedly, between making a full-on rebuild, retooling for the future, versus, as we know, putting butts in seats and making sure that this team looks as quote-unquote competitive as possible, 100%. Right? but they're still right there on the outskirts of the play-in or the playoffs. So this is just like, okay, we know what Jerry Reinsdorf cares about. We already know what that is, the bottom line. But at the same time, like if you're going to bring Zach Lavine back as well, what does that say about the progression of this team, overall? Like for me, I think that's just going to keep you in the same crapshoot that you've been in for quite some time. Like you have to commit to either going young and rebuilding or bringing all these vets back.
Let me ask you this: and I guess here's right. We're in this imaginary scenario where like everything comes back and everybody's perfect anyway. Let's go down the path of that, right?
Let's do it. All right.
Also, the imaginary scenario that P is good, but does adding Josh Giddey create that first 35 games with Lonzo dynamic that makes Zach Lavine the perfect player, that makes Kobe White fit perfectly with Zach Lavine? Do you feel that much confidence in him coming in? Because we heard his press conference today. The thing that he talked about the most in the press conference today was not scoring, was not about how he wants to get to the bucket more. It was about how he wants to improve his defense and how he feels he can make everybody on the court's game better. Is that something that you would want to see the Bulls go down that path, taking a chance for maybe another year or whatever it is? At this point, you're taking a loss on a deal anyway, but you get to see if Giddey can improve the dynamic between Kobe, between Zach, improve P. Will. Maybe Vooch becomes usable out there again.
No, yeah, it sounded good. Everything Giddey said sounded good. Of course, that's what we want to hear. But I think the parallels between Lonzo and Giddey, I don't look at them as all the way similar because obviously we've talked about this before. Lonzo's a better defender. So it's good that Giddey wants to improve in that end. Lonzo's a better three-point shooter, better volume three-point shooter at this point in his career. We've seen Giddey's numbers kind of take incremental progress every season. He's still kind of a below average three-point shooter at 33%, I believe, last year. But that he can still push the tempo, the fact that he can still distribute the basketball. Those are the similarities that you want to see from a tall point guard like him. Those are the things that I think will make this team successful, as you mentioned, like in those first 35. Yeah, I do believe that's what you can expect from him.
Yeah, it's. I think that offensively, 100%, he can give you what Lonzo gave you. Right, a guy that can score. I mean, I'm just going numbers, not actual what he did.
Right, that's true.
I think he gives you a guy that can score 13 to 15 points a game. I think he gives you the passing numbers. He does not give you the defense. Like I saw you defensively. It's improvement would be like if you basically can go out there and stand in front of a guy for half of the shot clock. Like
put your hands up.
Like, you know what I mean? Like if the shot goes up and your hand is near a guy. Yeah, I mean, like you knew, I probably should try to block this. Like that would be improvement for him.
Yeah. Yeah.
But to me, even in a perfect scenario, somebody said it in the chat. What does this accomplish? And I think that's the thing for me. What we're talking about, even a scenario, perfect scenario, you got Zach Lavine, you got Kobe White, you got Patrick Williams, things are moving exactly how you hope that they move. You're the 8th seed.
Yeah.
You need a star. And you have a young player who's developing. You have a young player who's moving in the right direction. We have over 200 in the chat. Hey. 200. Like I just slipped that in there. Pause. But no. By the way, over 100 in the chat. 25 likes. Hit that like button, dog. What are we doing?
Let's go. Get the likes up.
Hey, shout out to the people on Twitter, man. Hit the like button, but y'all know what's going on over there. So hit that retweet button as well as the react button, I guess, as they call it over there. It sounds dirty. I don't like it.
What'd you say? Re-X yesterday?
Re-X, yeah. I don't like it. Sounds dirty.
Very bad.
Not only are you Xing, you're re-Xing. Wait a minute. But no, like if we're having a real conversation around the Zach Lavine situation and all that, like you have a young player who's moving in the right direction, who's figured out his game a little bit, still has some inconsistencies, but maybe Josh Giddey being the guy who can create some of those open looks for him, improves on those inconsistencies and helps him become more consistent. Don't stop that by trying to add another piece into the mix that wasn't there when you saw him make his biggest steps. That's my thing. That's my beginning. If you leave the last season with any memory, remember what Zach Lavine was when he came back and how much it derailed Kobe White. He wasn't the same player. We were saying, and the numbers were fine. It was like 19 points a game throughout that time. So basically his season average and stuff like that. But we literally were watching the game going, oh, this ain't the dude that we were just watching. So don't take that away from him. Let him continue to develop. Let him continue to grow. Let him continue. When you need him on ball, let him be on ball. Right now, you have an opportunity to go with, and I love that Casey Johnson wrote this in his article after the Josh Giddey press conference. It seems like there is a youth movement coming here. Why are we scared to go after that? Which is a tough. There's so many jokes on a youth movement after trading for Josh Giddey, but it seems like there's a youth movement coming here for the Chicago Bulls. Why are we so hesitant to see what our young players look like? We go get Kobe White, we go get Zach Lavine, we go get all of these, we go get Kobe White, we go get Dalen Terry, we go get Ayo Dosunmu, we go get Patrick Williams, and we basically say, y'all sit on the bench until the real players are done. It's not a way to grow players. It's not a way to develop players. It's not going to work for Josh Giddey either.
No, he's already put up good numbers during his year. Yeah, no, I agree with you, and that's the conundrum, right? Is throughout the I don't know how many years now. How long we had Zach? 7 seasons, I think. Six, 7 seasons.
Jimmy Butler left and has gone to 2 NBA finals.
Lord have mercy. It's just like we keep running back the same thing, and I think it's an organizational thing. I also think too, when you're talking about trying to get a superstar, because essentially that's what a team needs, right? To kind of get to that next level. Do we really see Kobe White as potentially a superstar or just an all-star? Because I see him getting to all-star ascension just like Zach. That's always been a problem too, is not having a superstar.
Yeah.
And that draft, by the way, the draft is not going to address that. We know how weak this draft is. I know we're going to get into it, but who's going to help us then?
Do I think that Kobe White can get to a superstar level? No. But I also didn't think Tyrese Maxey could. And last year he showed me that, hey, let us get a little bit of
true.
Let us get a little bit of moment in here, and I can, because I don't think he's a superstar yet. Yeah, I have a very different definition of superstar. You got to win something. Jason Tatum, congratulations. You are now a superstar in my book. You and Jaylen Brown. Congratulations to both of y'all. Hey, I'll throw Drew Holiday in there. Drew Holiday be getting slept on. But I will. Drew. Hey, listen, Drew went to 2 teams and immediately impacted a championship in the first year of being there.
Man, that's like
you got to put.
I got to think about that one. Drew to me is like a Caruso on steroids. That's what he comes off to me. I don't see him as a superstar. I see him as somebody you need on the champion.
It sounds crazy to say, but Drew might be creeping toward Hall of Fame level, bro.
Whoa, hey. I mean, he's got the titles. You got to win, right?
Fame, let anybody.
You got to win.
The Basketball Hall of Fame be like, did you play basketball and win anything? Oh, really? Come on in. The Basketball Hall of Fame is a joke to me, bro. Why is Yao Ming in there? Because we were excited. We were like, it was big and Chinese. That was it. That's
hilarious. That is freaking hilarious.
Yao Ming made it. They were like, well, it's Chinese accolades. Name me some Chinese accolades. Yeah. What did he do? What did he? Well, I know
he was. He did. They did say he was a beast, but I mean,
look, I know he's got him, but nobody over here knew him. Muzz was sitting here trying to debate Yao Ming. It was like those years in Houston were dominant. It was like the 3 before his foot fell off. Stop it, though. But I don't know why I just went at Yao Ming so hard right there. That was
you
crazy.
Did kind of just throw a little bit.
Y'all took a shot. My bad, Yao. I do love you as a player, but.
Foul.
Hey, shout out to guys like Yao Ming and T-Mac, because there will never be a debate whether Derrick Rose will be in the Hall of Fame.
Oh, boy. Tears.
Has Yao ever made it out of the first round of the playoffs?
That I don't know.
I got to go back and look at that.
That's actually a very good. That's a good stat that we got to look up. I don't think
T-Mac has. And
when they both played on Houston.
Yeah, neither of them made it out the first. They was hurt the whole time.
Okay.
I feel like Houston had a run, but I can't remember. Anyway, we got sidetracked on that. I'm sorry, y'all, but you didn't have to. But no, I think my focus for the Chicago Bulls moving forward and the conversation on, right, is he going to be a superstar? I don't know. We got to win a championship for me to see that. He's got to win, right? Maybe he has a case if he gets MVP level or something like that. But
yeah,
right now where you're at, can Kobe White be a 25-plus point per game scorer?
Yeah. Yeah, he can put the ball in the basket from different levels. Yeah, absolutely.
100%. That's a step in the right direction.
If he's your number one guy.
If he's your number one guy.
So yeah.
That's a step in the right direction.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like that to me is where you look at a guy like Kobe White, where you look at bringing in Josh Giddey, where you look at what does Zach Lavine add or take away. And to me, Zach Lavine is who he is. Okay, is that a player that can help you? Sure. Is he going to be willing to take that backseat role? I don't know, because he didn't do it when he came back. And I can't chance that because I've got a 25, 24-year-old player right now who's developing into a role that I didn't think that he would be taking over. I literally said, now listen, this was a horrible take. Me and Hayes have both apologized for this to Bulls Nation. But we literally were like, to start the season, I was like, don't be surprised if like Kobe White's not the starting point guard. Like I could see Javon Carter being there. Now we were wrong, horribly. But that tells you where the confidence level of Kobe White was.
I see why you all had that take though. I think we all were bamboozled by Javon.
There wasn't a belief in Kobe White. It wasn't so much of a faith in Javon Carter. It was a lack of belief in what Kobe White could do.
Yeah.
I was like, yeah, he comes into the starting lineup. He could be a solid 2, but I don't know if I want him out there at point. But now seeing what he's developed into, you don't take that away. And that's what the Bulls always do. What did we see last year with Dalen Terry? Or what did we see initially with Dalen Terry? We were like, yo, we need to see some energy injected into this offense and this defense. We need to see somebody out there who's going to have a pulse on the court. Dalen Terry comes in. Bulls win 2 games in a row. He's got a heart. He's out there fighting. He's giving everything that he can to the Bulls. And all he did was just bring energy into the lineup. Love it. Here we go. This is what we need. Don't see him again for 2 weeks.
Yep.
Why?
What happened?
What happened?
Coaching.
Julian Phillips last season started to show some growth, started to show some development.
Yes.
All of a sudden, he's out of the rotation. Now, he does end up coming back, ends up getting injured, but he's out of the rotation a couple of games. Why is he out of the rotation? Why are you removing players who are showing growth from the rotation? Who are showing development from that's my problem with how the Bulls run things. And that's why I wanted to bring the Zach Lavine topic up, because I'm literally going like, when K.C. Johnson said it, I was like, this could happen. This absolutely could happen.
Yeah. It's always a carousel. Like your roles need to be. That's another part that I think that goes under appreciated about when you're making a team is solidifying everybody's role, staying in that role for a good amount of time, right? We see that with some of the best teams. The chemistry is on point because everybody knows exactly what they're going to be doing, where they need to be, what role they're filling. Are you the 3-and-D player? Are you the guy that's going to be sitting in the corner waiting for that 3-point shot? Yeah. Are you the guy that's just going for the offensive rebound? You're the paint. You're the paint defender, or are you the all around scorer like Zach and DeMar? Like everybody has to have a solidified role. But when time and time again, the Bulls have always had that thing where it's like, oh no, Kobe's the guy now. Oh well, maybe we'll bring Zach back. Well, now if Zach comes back, now Zach's the guy. Now Kobe has to take a back seat. Now Ayo has to go back to the bench. Like all these roles keep getting switched around. It's like nobody's making any progress, and you're taking a step back on your young guys. So it wouldn't really be a benefit for us to keep them or consider having them come back.
Yeah, we'll see what the Bulls end up doing, man. There's still a lot to be done. Like you said, the other side of this could be a smokescreen.
Yeah.
This could be, we're in a bad situation. The only thing we're getting offered out here is freaking, what was the deal? It was Kevin Herter and
Sacramento and Harrison Barnes. Yeah.
Which I'm not going to lie. As somebody that's like, you just traded for Josh Giddey. Perfect. I would like
Herter.
Harrison Barnes coming off of the bench and Josh Giddey and Kevin Herter and or I guess both of them realistically, depending on how you run your lineup. But you get a 3-point shooter and a solid defender and a shooter off of the bench. Harrison Barnes still 17 points a game?
No, he's pretty decent. Yeah, he's a good vet.
I'm fine with that. I'm not.
I don't want to
do what Dallas did and rely on him. But as a bench piece, I love it.
Yeah, you'll take it.
I mean, so I think that to me is why, like, if you're trying to get more than that, I get you, right? If that's the best deal that's on the table, I guess this is a smart smokescreen, especially if you have Casey Johnson be the one that puts it out there. Because, like I said, when I heard him say it, my first thought was the Bulls are going to do it. This is not a Casey don't just talk.
He don't just say stuff.
Casey don't just put stuff out there without talking to somebody. And he's the only person the Bulls talk to. Nobody else has any idea of what's going on except Casey Johnson. He's the only person that AK and Mark Eversley talk to.
Yeah. Oh boy, man. I hope it's a smokescreen now that we're talking about it more and more. Because the fact that he's a credible source, that could also make other teams feel like, oh, well, maybe they're gonna do. We need to ramp up our trade offers. So that's how I hope they look at it. We'll see what happens in the next 24 hours or so.
We'll see, man. We'll see. Appreciate y'all tuning in, showing love. Hit that like button, subscribe to the page, leave that 5-star review. Y'all know what to do. We're going to keep talking Bulls on today's episode, man. We got a lot of Bulls to talk about because there's a lot of bull in the air. Bulls make a qualifying offer.
Oh, yeah.
To Patrick Williams.
Here we go.
I'm gonna let you take this one, bro. I can't even.
Oh, well, come on. You did it.
I'm sorry. All right, my bad. That's my bad. Okay.
Don't you dare.
Listen, y'all know how I feel about P. Will. It is not hidden. There is nothing that to me that I see from Patrick Williams that makes me feel like he's going to be a dominating player for the Chicago Bulls, but his qualifying offer right now is worth $12.97 million. Chicago will have the option of matching any offer sheet that is put out there. And at this point, I mean, listen, if you're going to offer him something, fine. You offered him basically $13 million.
Yeah,
right?
Not a lot. Yeah.
That's nothing. You're bringing him back basically to try and see. You're bringing him back like you would bring Zach Lavine back, or how you brought back Kobe White, right? We didn't expect anything from Kobe White. We expected the same from Kobe White this season. Inconsistencies, at least I did. Inconsistencies, up and down play. We didn't see nearly as much of that, and he took a step forward as an offensive juggernaut on the court. And absolutely, the handles are phenomenal. Keep working with dribble too much out here. Ayo Dosunmu coming off of his sophomore season where I was sure that he was going to have a sophomore slump. I thought that he would work his way back. I didn't think that he would play as well as he did. You got him basically at a heck of a discount last season as well. You're hoping to do that with Patrick Williams here. Do you like the fact that the Bulls made a qualifying offer? Do you like the fact that I mean, no matter what, and I know you do.
I was about to say, you doggone right.
It seems like there's a belief in Patrick Williams that I don't know if anybody else has outside of the Bulls organization, but inside the Bulls organization, there's a massive belief in this young man. I guess I shouldn't say that because there were a couple teams that were like, we'll trade for him. And OKC, according to Stacey King, really wanted him. Wanted him to be a part of it, probably because they could develop in the right way. But what are your thoughts on P. Will getting the qualifying off?
I mean, look, it's funny to me. I know everybody knows that I'm on the side of keeping P. Will and seeing what he becomes when he stays healthy, if he stays healthy. It's weird. You have this part, the fan base that is either all for P. Will, or you have the fan base that says he sucks, he's a bust. Trade him. There's no in between. I feel like there's no in between because you're either calling him really bad or he's somebody who has shown some progress. And I feel like P. Will as a role player on this team, and you even mentioned it, which is why I feel like you should give him some grace, is when we drafted him, he wasn't the guy to take over the team. Okay, yeah, we drafted him at number 4. Usually those guys have a big role on the team as soon as they step foot on a bad squad. This team, that wasn't the case. You had DeRozan, you have Lavine, you had Vooch. You still got those guys on the team. So if there's a pecking order, Patrick Williams is not going to jump those guys. First of all, he doesn't even have the mentality nor the aggression to do that. Because when he's on the court, he's like, all right, let me get out of the way, let me do my part, which is why he turned into a really good 3-and-D player. I feel like he was a really good role player with those guys. Now, if you're telling me that Zach Lavine's not here now, maybe DeRozan gets gone, you know, and now he kind of bumps up to maybe that second or third player behind Vooch and Kobe. Now we might have something. You may see an increase in the scoring. You already saw an increase in shooting. He shot over 41% when he was healthy. Yeah. And he gave you 10 points. I'm trying to figure out, like, what is the problem? I understand he isn't a 20 and 10.
Let me clarify this, right? Because I think that maybe to me a bust is if I draft you, and I guess people just assume, like, when you use the word bust, it just means you're the worst player of all time. That's not
completely trash.
It's not the definition of bust. A bust means you were drafted too high and you didn't work out based on what the expectations were for you. I agree with everything you said there. To me, Patrick Williams is a bust because I don't think he'll ever be the face of the Chicago Bulls.
No, that I agree with.
You don't draft somebody 4th overall and you don't expect them not to be the face of a team.
That's a good point.
So to me, Patrick Williams is a bust. Now, does that mean that Patrick Williams can't become a 15 to 18 point per game player with some really solid defense? 100%. He absolutely can. I do believe that he has that in his game. I think that bringing Josh Giddey here may help that. But I've seen guys who were, right, Austin Rivers had a solid career. What was he? Austin Rivers was 14, 15 points a game when he was actually getting relied on.
Mm-hmm.
Austin Rivers did not live up to what he was supposed to be drafted as.
No, he didn't. No.
He was a bust. Austin Rivers will tell you that he was a bust. He will also tell you that he had a solid NBA career at the same time. But you know what I mean? Like that's my thing when I talk about P. Will. I'm not saying that P. Will can't become a 3-and-D 15 point per game type of player. My thing is that's not what you drafted him for. That's not what he was intended to be. So when I say he's a bust, I'm saying he ain't lived up to the expectation around him. At this point now, the expectation around him is basically like, just become useful.
Yeah.
Become a dude who I continue to see on the floor. Because here's my problem around Patrick Williams and why, to me, there are too many moments where, yes, P. Will was put in a bad position. P. Will was brought in as the number 4 overall pick, and they put 4 dudes in front of him that are going to demand the ball more. But you know what happens every single time somebody takes his spot? Torrey Craig comes in. There's not a play call for Torrey Craig. There's nothing that's being run for Torrey Craig. There's nothing that's being put into the system for Torrey Craig. Torrey Craig makes a defensive impact. He's running to the rim for rebounds. He's he's doing whatever he can to get the ball in his hands to put points in. When we talk about Javonte Green coming back, there's not a single play ever in Bulls history that has been run for Javonte Green.
Facts.
I guarantee you there's no play in Billy's system that said, Javonte, this is for you. Like, it's just not going to happen unless everyone else is dead. But Javonte Green finds a way to make an impact. He's on the rebounds. He's defensively involved. He's playing the passing lanes. We constantly, when I hear the term, there's 5 Javontes out there, that's you making an impact. When I hear the term, there's 5 Carusos out there. Now, Caruso probably got to the point where stuff was being run for him, but that's you making an impact no matter where you're slated on the depth chart as far as involvement in the game. Patrick Williams doesn't do it. So for me, I'm fine with you keeping him around and hoping that he finally becomes this player, but the mindset to me is not aggressive enough. The player himself to me is not aggressive enough because he has, when I tell you this, he has all the physical traits. I have seen him up close with the nice ESPN tickets that we get, right? And very nice. Very nice.
All right. Hey.
I have seen him very up close.
Mm-hmm.
He's a monster. I saw him run into Bam Adebayo. Bam went that way. He's strong as an ox. He can jump out the gym. He straight line speed. He's quicker than I would ever think that he was. Defensively, he can cover 90% of the court if he wants to. It's all right here.
There's always a but. Yeah. And
that's a problem. And I'm not even telling you, like, go out there and be the best player on the court at this point. I'm just saying consistently make an impact. Why don't I hear your name? Why don't I ever hear Stacey King say there's 5 P. Wills out there?
Because it's usually just what?
I love the. And let's be real. Sometimes we forget that there's one.
Yeah, because he's standing around. And You know what? This is one thing I will never defend with Patrick Williams. As much as I love Patrick Williams, I want him to succeed. I want him to look better. I want him to improve. You either have this or you don't. You don't have that dog in you. And I know we joke about that all the time, and we've heard players say it. We heard Angel Reese say it. Like, you have certain people who just have that it factor about them that makes them impact winning, right? They don't always have to be the flashiest. They don't even always have to be the most talented, but they impact winning because they just have that extra grit about them. That's the one thing I've always had an issue with Patrick Williams about is take over a game. Like, even with Zach and DeMar on the court, say, hey, I'm that guy. I'm the fourth pick. That's the attitude that I've never seen from him. So that's the only thing that I will say that makes me kind of have pause when it comes to what his ceiling is, outside of the injury history that he's built up over the last couple of years. But I'm willing to at least believe that Patrick Williams will, along with, like you said, with the signing of Giddey, along with the improvement of the other players, have some sort of a better impact going forward, which is why I like the chance that they take it. And if you look at Acme's track record, going back to Denver, and again, it works because they won a championship. They trusted Jamal Murray. They could have gotten rid of Jamal Murray 10 times over on that organization. They trusted Jamal Murray. Jamal Murray talked about that. And so that's why I think AK kind of is holding on to him, is he sees something that maybe we're not seeing, and he's saying, I'm going to go with that. This is the reason why I'm keeping him around, because I feel like if he stays healthy, he can eventually produce the way I want him to.
But there's a difference in that, right? The trust in Jamal, they trusted Jamal Murray to do what?
Be the point guard.
No, they trusted him that he was going to get healthy.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
Jamal Murray from year 1 to year 2 went from 10 points a game to 18. I got trust for that. Patrick Williams been at 10 points a game since I've seen him. Literally left college at 10 points a game.
Well, FSU don't manufacture all-stars.
100%. Yeah. I understand all of that. But like the last 6 years of his life, he's been a 10 to 12 point per game scorer.
Yeah.
Like that's just tough for me to and I'll be honest with you. Like when I look at P. Will, do I think that there's more that could happen? Do I think that there's more that you can unlock from him? Yeah, but there's nothing holding him back. I don't even need to see him, like you mentioned, you want to see him have that dog and say, I'm the best player on this team. I'm gonna go after you. No, I don't even want to see that. I just want to see him be pissed off at the dude across from him who's smaller than him that he should be able to beat. I want to see him go with the guys that are maybe on his level, that it's like, all right, this kind of evens out, and just go, it shouldn't even out. I'm bigger and better than you. I'm going to go to this bucket and get buckets real quick. That's what I want to see from people. Like Angel Reese is not the best player on the Chicago Sky, and we talk about her having that dog. She may be one day.
Yeah.
But if I'm picking between anybody, give me Kennedy Carter.
Kennedy Carter's a beast. Yeah. Yeah.
Well, on a hot day, I'll take Marina Mabry.
She can hit free throws.
If she can hit free throws, you know what, she was. That was tough. That was a tough time. But in the moment when Alyssa Smith said, "You too small, you ain't got it. Just stop playing with us," and they joined back and forth, Angel Reese said, "Ball."
10 points, 5 rebounds in 1 quarter.
I'm not asking you to be the best player on the team. I'm asking you to be better than the man standing across from you. Yeah, when you should be. And we don't see that from P. Will. Name me one. He's been in the NBA 4 years, and it's so far and few between. You should be able to name me one player he's dominated.
Yeah, no, it's not happening. I'm not going to sit here and lie.
Somebody in the chat, tell me one player that Patrick Williams has been across from, and he was like, I'm better than you, and I'm going to go out here and outplay you.
Yeah. Even, you know what? I would think it would be Scotty Barnes, since, they kind of like.
He plays Scotty Barnes well. There's certain players he plays well. He plays Scotty Barnes well, but he don't outplay him.
He don't outplay Scotty, and Scotty is on another level now. Yeah.
The best matchup he has in the league, and it's only because defensively, I think that he has something that nobody else can do outside of maybe Kawhi Leonard, is he has played Zion Williams very well defensively and made the games very difficult. But outside of that, Zion did still end with 30 plus points.
Yeah. That's a good call.
That's and so I'll ask this. By the way, I don't know if we did this because we talking and having a good conversation. Oh, with 300 in the chat.
300. Let's go. 300. Appreciate y'all. I was wondering when you was gonna use that.
Yeah, just break it out.
That or the kid voice.
Oh, we were talking about. Actually, I got a 300. How about that? We getting real loud out here.
I like that.
We getting real loud out here. Yeah, big megaphone action. 300. What else we got on? I have so many. All right, I'm doing too much.
Daft
my bad.
Daft Punk over here. All right. Intergalactic planetary planet.
I got to go back and watch that. I know that sounded cold, Loki.
Oh man, I actually want a soundboard now.
Oh, the Roadcaster Pro 2. Shout out Roadcaster, man. Y'all sponsor the podcast. You might as well. Let me ask you this before we get off of this topic. This is a qualifying offer, meaning that an offer can still be made to Patrick Williams, and if it is higher than what the Bulls offered, they can match.
Are you gonna ask me, will they match any offer?
No. Chris said I thought Ringo showed up. That took me out. That one took me out. Oh, I gotta stop looking at the chat.
You all are nuts.
I gotta stop looking at the chat. Oh God.
Yeah, that was my problem.
Oh, that was good, Crimson. That one got me. I don't know. That one caught me dead in the middle. All right, back to it. Let's do this again. Hi, here we go. All right, so this means that if another team makes a qualifying offer higher than what the Bulls have made, the Bulls would then have to match it. What number does it get to before you say, yeah, there's no chance we match that?
13.
Really?
I'm not gonna lie, I love P. Will, but if anybody goes above what we already offered,
so if you if they
I'm drafting Terrence Shannon Jr., baby.
Even if they offer $1 million more, you're out.
Yeah, because I feel like if the Bulls offered that, and AK is a guy that really, I feel like he's high on his players that he's picked. If they offer 13, I feel like they're not going to go above 13. Maybe they will. That's just my take. I feel like they're not going to go above that. I wouldn't. If somebody goes 14 and a half, 15, okay. We appreciate you. Enjoy the rest of your career.
So you really don't believe in this mug, then?
I do. You really don't believe in it. That does sound bad. Like I'm not giving him any sort of like leeway. Yeah, that does sound bad. I don't know. I feel like I'm drafting TSJ. I'm with you, Travis. I'm drafting TSJ. I'm sorry. 13 mil or nothing.
Hold on. Mr. Inglewood has sent in a $2 super chat. I'm only doing this. I'm not a dancing monkey here. Don't be thinking y'all can send in money and make requests, although you probably can. Let me get a. All right, that's enough.
With 400 to I see what.
By the way, over 400 in the chat. 400. Everybody was wondering about that. Everybody's like, why did you just start singing Computer Love in a robot voice? Well, we talked about the draft. That's tough. You don't believe in him at all, then. Like, let's be real. Like, I'm not gonna lie. He said, I get. If somebody makes a bigger offer than the qualifying offer, I'm out.
I'm sorry, Patrick. I'm with you until 13.1. I'm with you until 13.1.
That is funny, bro. I've never seen somebody sit here and defend someone. For how long we've been doing this segment? For 20 minutes,
bro.
And then
I love me some P. Will.
I
do. I really do. I really love me some P. Will, but yeah.
Bro, that man said, yeah, I'm all in on P. Will. Appreciate you for showing love. Stay tuned with us, man. 13.5. Let me.
Goodbye. I'm out.
It just got up.
Yeah, I'm out. I'm sorry. I'm out.
Oh, dog. Let's keep this thing moving along. Appreciate y'all tuning in and showing love. Hit that like button, subscribe to the page, leave a 5-star review.
Sorry.
Sorry. Turned his back so fast, bro. I wasn't expecting that. I thought he was gonna be like 20 mil. You know what I
mean? Man. I'm Jerry Reinsdorf on this.
What I'm all thrown off by that.
Can't even think straight right now.
That one threw me. I thought we were gonna have a much longer discussion on that. I'm not gonna lie to you.
You thought I was going to go 20 or something.
I thought you were going to say 18 to 20 mil.
No,
he said if somebody, he did the Monopoly bid. If somebody goes 501, I'm out. That's how this man bid in Monopoly, bro. I broke that man up a railroad for $1.50, bro.
We're not going to talk about Monopoly now.
That was phenomenal. That was phenomenal content right there. Let's keep this thing moving along. Hit that like button. If you have not done so, subscribe to the page, leave that 5-star review. Y'all know what to do. Definitely hit the like button on the YouTube side, man, so we can get that push. Hit that retweet button over on the Twitter side, because Twitter does not push at all. That is the weird part about Twitter. We get a ton of people over there that watch and listen. I appreciate every one of you guys, but after the video's up, that's your views. Nobody's tapping in later. Nobody's rewatching, so we got to keep building up the audience. Let's keep this thing moving along, though. With the Josh Giddey edition, draft-wise, when you look at this Chicago Bulls team, where do you feel the Bulls now need to address the most? Because I think there was a lot of people that were looking at this team going, okay, maybe you need to go wing, definitely need to go big. But now with the addition of Josh Giddey, you kind of get a weird lineup, right? Your point guard is 6'8".
Yeah.
He's probably not guarding point guards on a night in, night out basis, which is a scary thing to think about. Are you going with a wing player? Are you still looking to go with a big man? When you look at the draft right now, who are you looking at that fits this team the most?
I'm looking at this mock draft that they had on a website, NBC Sports website. And there's a few names that I know we've mentioned a few times that actually are going to be under where the Bulls are picking. You've mentioned Kyle Filipowski from Duke. I feel like he's a really, really good high upside, high energy guy who I think will impact within his role right off the bat. He's one of those guys that is just built for, his role. Big man who can run the floor, rebound, give you energy. Like, that's who I think we need. Especially if we're going to keep Vooch to complement Vooch or to, spell him when he's not on the court. I like Filipowski. I know you don't want to hear it, but I also like Zach Giddey. It is what it is. I know Zach Giddey is not a guy that everybody's really high on, but, I mean, you can't deny his size. That's someone that I wouldn't mind getting as well, that I think maybe Giddey can make it even better, now that we have a point guard that can distribute the way he does. I don't know.
That would be interesting. I'm not gonna lie. Like the entire Zach Giddey conversation has been built around Kobe White, Ayo Dosunmu, like the lineup you had last season.
Giddey.
But now with Giddey in the room, I do wonder if a guy like Zach Giddey would flourish with a point guard like that. That would be interesting to see. And you would think you'd have more shooters around him. Here's my thing, though, and I do think that this is the one thing for me. You got enough bigger guards that I'm not as worried about the wing position. Plus, you got Ayo Dosunmu, who's got a ridiculous wingspan, can defend everybody, is able to knock down the three, all of that, right?
Yeah.
You have to fix your interior presence. It basically is non-existent, right? Like this is
right. Yeah.
To me, this is a year where you come in and you have Vooch, who is a double-double every night, but he's not stretching the floor as a big man, which brings a lack of shooting into this team for the modern NBA. You also are probably going to lose Andre Drummond because he's finally looking to move elsewhere because there's more money that can be gotten for him elsewhere. And so he wants to go put himself in a winning situation. You do what you do, Dre. I think that there's a lot of things that work in the right direction for the Chicago Bulls. So because of that, Or I'm sorry, for Andre Drummond. So because of that, I think with the Chicago Bulls, you need to fix your interior. And there's two names right now that I think help with that. Now, one of them, I should say there are two names that add size to this team. I don't know if they fix the interior. The one I've continued to mention is Kyle Filipowski. The two things Filipowski brings to me, able to get the ball off of the rim. If you pair him up with Josh Giddey, he's running the floor and has an ability to get up and down the floor, can move the ball really well, and can knock down the three ball. Also is a solid shot blocker and somebody who can defend the rim, and I think that adds to it. My problem with Kyle Filipowski is he does not rebound. He is a okay rebounder, right? He's a 7-footer that is a little bit undersized, shall we say, as far as skinniness. So to me, when I look at a guy like Filipowski, I feel better about the games when you're going up against Chet. I feel better about the games when you're going up against Wemby, the slimmer guys in the league. But those days where you're going up against Joel Embiid, or you're going up against Nikola Jokic, or Isaiah Hartenstein, or you're gonna have a long day.
Yeah.
Right? Those days when you're going up, heck, I'll say those days you're going up against a dude like Wendell Carter Jr. He's undersized, but he can move you out of his way. He's probably going to break his shoulder on the way, but still. Right? Like, to me, the problem with Filipowski is, and I think he's a phenomenal player. I think he's going to be good in the league, but I do think that there is are you addressing rebounding? To me, with that lineup, you're saying we want shooters. I'm fine with that. Let's shoot. Let's go out here and shoot the lights out. There's not a lot of defense happening with that lineup, though.
Now, Drummond doesn't want to be here anymore, is the consensus, right? Because
the latest that we've heard is that he's opting out and he's gonna look elsewhere.
He wants to see what else is going on. See, because to me, that's the guy who I would love to keep. I mean, you already know what Drummond does. He provides a presence in there somewhat. I mean, he's not that reliable, but he gives you some defense on the interior, but you know what he does as far as rebounding. One of the best to do it. So if we're losing that already and we have Vucevic, who is I've always viewed Vucevic as a very good situational rebounder, like he's in the right spot at the right time. You need somebody who's going to go after rebounds, and to me, is just younger at this point. So yeah, I do love the Filipowski. You're saying that he's not somebody that rebounds though, so you know if that's the case,
rebound. He's I'm 7 feet tall, so I got to get 7 of these.
So he's Eddie Curry,
no, because Eddie Curry is 7
worse.
feet tall with size, and I'm gonna just not be big enough to do anything or have a post move committed to memory. Kyle Filipowski is more like everything that we thought Chet Holmgren and Wemby were gonna be. That's what Filipowski is on the boards.
Got you. Okay.
Where we're like, there's no way he'll rebound like that at the NBA level. He will not. Yeah. But he will knock down the 3 on the other end.
I see some people in the chat. I know Rex mentioned it. Rex Smith and Line MCG said TSJ is going to be a good pro. That's a person I would pick just out of desire. I don't think that's the first or biggest need that the Bulls are looking at right now. I would love to have Shannon Jr. on this team, but I feel like that's a repetitive pick of who we already have here, especially if we're going to keep Patrick Williams. If Patrick Williams was gone, I'm all in on TSJ.
No, P. Will is still playing the 4, though.
But I think TSJ can come in as a 3 or a 4.
No.
I think his wingspan.
TSJ is a 2 or a 3.
He's 6'6", 6'7".
He's 6'6". He's got a 6'8" wingspan. Yeah, he's a 2 or a 3. He got to get a jump shot, too. Now, I do love shout out Tanner in the chat. What up, fellas? He's coming back. Hashtag Zach.
Oh, boy.
I do love Terrence Shannon Jr. And y'all know my affinity to Illinois players coming in here. Last time we took one, it worked. But I
don't think he's going way before 11, Brian, by the way. I've seen plenty of mocks where I don't even see his name.
I don't know. Like I think once the allegations were off the table, it was like, here we go. We've been waiting on this. I think there's gonna be some surprises in this draft. All of a sudden, day before the draft, we're hearing about players just shooting up the draft left and right. It's like, what I saw who had an interest in
Isaac Rusher. I forgot it. I don't know his name.
Zachary Richard is the other one. No, somebody had an interest in Zach Edey that was very high.
Really?
I just thought it. It was top 10. And I was like, there's no way. Like, if we see this, Portland. They said Portland has an interest in Zach Edey. And Portland is 9.
Portland is 7.
Portland is 7. I was like, there's no way, boys. Like, are we serious right now? Like, Portland has a real interest.
Yeah, they got Donovan. They got, unless Klingon is going, they got in this mock draft, they got Klingon going to Portland.
Klingon might go high as well. I think Klingon could go. I saw a mock today, or I saw a report today that there is interest in the Spurs pairing Klingon up with Wemby.
Nasty.
That's nasty. That's nasty work, bro.
That would be disgusting.
Nasty work, bro.
That would be disgusting.
Klingon up with Wemby, but no, I think that, to me, like when I'm looking at the draft right now, Terrence Shannon Jr., phenomenal. Let's do it. Let's make it happen. Let's find a way to get it done. Yeah. But how are you addressing big man? That, to me, is where you have to figure out some kind of trade that gets you a big man from the Zach Lavine deal. And so, if like I need another center in here. We heard the Walker Kessler is available deal. I would love to see that. Another name, if you were going to just draft him, bro. I love Walker Kessler. We know
that would be perfect.
Could have had him. Could have just drafted him. But no, Dalen Terry. That's your guy, right? That's your boy. I will say this. I put
in a lot of work in the offseason, by the way.
I dug up a stat doing some research yesterday on Dalen Terry coming off of or Dalen Terry when he's cutting last season. So basically gets the ball, passes, takes off to the bucket immediately. 75% completion percentage.
Amen.
It's not bad. It's not bad. But he don't do it. So no, anyway, but no, like, to me, you got to go out and find your center that is going to be your center of the future now via trade. That's tough to do. Another big that I would look at that, to me, is very interesting, somebody that Hayes has loved throughout the entire process.
We got
Khalil Ware.
I have heard that name. Yeah, I don't know
he's out of Indiana. He was 16 points a game last season, 9.9 rebounds, just under 10 rebounds a game. He's a dog, 58%. He's 7 foot, 242, comes in already ready to go. I think he understands his body. He's got some really interesting shooting potential as well. He can knock down the midi. He can knock down the three. Like, there's a lot of upside to a guy like Khalil Ware. He made 42% on his 3-point shots last season. He shot 58% from the field, and he is not going as high as many have thought. Khalil Ware could be an absolute stud of a get if the Chicago Bulls were looking to bring somebody in to be a big. He could be a big of the future. And then, to me, you let him ride the bench this season and slowly work his way up, or you try and package something with Zach and Vooch, which I don't know what deal that's going to be. Hey, you guys want $60 million, useless on the books, but you try to package something with Zach Lavine, or move Zach and Vooch to different teams, whatever it is, and you bring Adama Sanago up behind him and let him be your backup big. Wow,
I forgot about Adama Sanago.
I love Adama Sanago, bro. I love players that just know their body. Yeah, I love players that are just like, I played in college for 4 years, so.
Yeah,
I got game. Like, I know how to do this. Oh, okay. Thank you. We appreciate that. But yeah, I would love to see the Bulls do either that. My focus is on the big man position. I think that's where the Bulls need to focus in most.
I'm with you on that. Yeah, I see Khalil Ware in this mock draft at 21, going to New Orleans. Used to be Milwaukee's pick. Mentioned that he has 95 3-point attempts in 2 years in college, and is also a credible rim protector. I'll take it. I mean, if this is a guy who, like you said, who you can bring in and develop him, let him watch. If we keep Vooch or someone else that'll start, and let him ease his way into getting more minutes. This is a guy who probably has some really good upside. As long as we pick somebody that is, can contribute, right? I like this draft overall, we know is not really special. Yeah. But they have some pieces here who, if you add them to a really good team or an up and coming team, they can have an impact. So yeah, I like that guy. I like that.
And
guy.
I think that's my thing about it. Like, if you're the thing that the Bulls have to do to me in this draft is you can't get a project.
No.
Go get somebody that knows their game. Khalil Ware, to me, knows his game. Kyle Filipowski, I guess, is kind of a project, but he's more of a shooter. So I feel like I'm less worried about him shooting wise. But go get me somebody that's been in the league or been in college for 2 years minimum.
Yeah.
that understands, okay, this is how I do this. This is how I make this move. This is how I get to this spot. Go get me somebody that you're not sitting, that you expect to be contributing by the time the season ends. That's what I want to see the Chicago Bulls do, man. Appreciate you guys for tuning in, showing love. If you haven't done so, hit that like button, subscribe to the page, leave a 5-star review. Y'all know what to do. Stay tapped in with us tomorrow. We got a big announcement coming you guys' way, something new that we're going to be adding to where you can find us and all of that, and possibly buy some things. Hey, now we got a lot coming you guys' way, so stay tuned in with us on that. And we're going to have coverage on any news that breaks. I mean, there's going to be a ton of news happening here probably over the next 24, 48 hours. I would expect a couple of trades. I would expect a couple of interesting rumors to get sparked up. So appreciate y'all for tuning in and showing love. Hit that like button, subscribe to the page, leave a 5-star review. Y'all know what to do. For the man, the myth, the legend, Jordan JC. It's your boy Pat the Designer back at it again. Now stay safe out there, Chicago. Bear down, one love, see red. C-Red Nation, go the trash team. The other trash team, I'm not gonna say it.
Go Cubs, go.
Yeah, it's horrible. And Hard Hog Hockey. And shout out to the Florida Panthers winning the Stanley Cup last night. That's about all the hockey coverage you're gonna get on this show. Stay safe.